What's going on, guys? Thank you for tuning in to another wonderful edition of my vlog. This is Ignatius Crypto Detective Palaki. That's Ignatius Crypto Detective Palaki of P2Ptender.com, Aptize Media. You can also log on to aptize.com. It's been a while from the YouTube scene for quite a minute, and that's because I'm working multiple projects, going to school. So it's been kind of hard to keep up with that whole plan that I was really dedicating myself to in terms of making daily videos of coin or cryptocurrency daily, which I'm going to get back into shortly here and start doing kind of a weekly recap on cryptocurrency news. But it's going to take me a minute, so hopefully sometime this week or maybe by this Friday or next Friday, I'm looking to do that. And it is August the 5th, 2018 today as we speak. So sometime within the next couple of weeks from today. However, with that being said, I've discovered this new thing, which isn't so new, but it's new to me. It's called the Raspberry Pi. Yes, the Raspberry Pi. And I think it's amazing. I think it is the coolest, greatest thing since the internet. Or maybe since Bitcoin, or, one of those two. What the Raspberry Pi is, for those that aren't aware, it is a single board computer. It's about, literally pocket-sized, which enables users to try stuff you would normally not dare to try with your normal computer. If you're running a desktop or a laptop, and you're into programming, or anything that involves computer programming, Raspberry Pi allows for you and gives users the ability to do so. Because number one, Raspberry Pi does not have the capacity, data and memory storage wise, to install the kind of programs you would on your everyday laptop, right? So if you start doing some kind of programming and you mess up your Raspberry Pi and you reset it, you're not going to have to go back and reinstall all that software, all those programs and all that stuff. It really gives you the space, the creative space to do so. Just about anything you can think of programming wise. I am accessing my Raspberry Pi 3B Plus, by the way. I gotta mention that. It's the newest edition of the Raspberry Pi series, and I think the only difference between the 3B Plus and all the other previous versions is that on the 3B Plus you have Bluetooth. It's Bluetooth enabled. Of course, you can plug in an Ethernet cable. You can, utilize the Wi-Fi feature as with the previous versions. But you have the Bluetooth capability, which you didn't have previously. I am accessing my Raspberry Pi on my smartphone, and you can do this whether you've got an iPhone, smartphone, Android, or a tablet. And there's several ways of doing it. I'm not going to get into all the ways that you can accomplish this, but with what I'm doing here currently, it's called the VNC. And all you have to do to enable the VNC server is you can go onto the Google Play App Store and you can download the VNC app. And once you do so, you may or may not have to go into your router and do kind of a port forwarding from your router to your Raspberry Pi IP address. The reason why I say you may or may not have to do this is because initially when I installed the VNC app, I didn't have to go through any kind of a setup process besides inputting the IP address from the Raspberry Pi into the Android app. That was it. I didn't have to do any kind of additional adjustments or modifications to the app. However, at a later point, after having installed the app and used it successfully several times, I was prompted with a message on the app saying it couldn't connect to the Raspberry Pi IP address. I went into my Raspberry Pi, did a little bit of what you call here. Oh, not that. diagnostics is what I did. Did a little bit of diagnostics testing, and came across a prompt that stated I needed to forward my port from the Wi-Fi router that I was hooking up my my Raspberry Pi to. But once you, and it's really easy to do. You just go in, you change a few little settings, you input your Raspberry Pi IP address, and once you do that, unless you reset your router, you should be fine. And if you turn on your Raspberry Pi and keep it on all day, and you're somewhere like at work or school or just at the store hanging out with your friends, as long as your Raspberry Pi is on, you can access it remotely using the VNC app. So that's pretty cool. What else can you do with the Raspberry Pi? You can mine cryptocurrency. Now, I don't know how much computing power is going to be behind this $30 single board computer, but you can buy multiple Raspberry Pi computers and stack them and create what is called a Raspberry Pi stack. You can stack them up on top of each other and have like a little tower going. And I guess depending on what kind of cryptocurrency you're mining and how many computers or Raspberry Pis you got behind you, would determine your computing power, thus and result would conclude the outcome of how many coins or cryptocurrency coins, whether you're doing Bytecoin or Bitcoin or Doge or Digibyte, how many of those you can mine per day or per week. So I haven't gotten into the cryptocurrency mining aspect of this, but there's so much you can do with the Raspberry Pi, from robotics to cryptocurrency mining to application development. I mean, you can actually record music on the Raspberry Pi, which is pretty amazing. All you need is a USB enabled microphone, and there's a program you can install. Now, you're very limited in the data and the memory that you're going to have on the Raspberry Pi. And of course, there's hacks and stuff you can do to take the micro SD card that you're using and open up all that memory to your Raspberry Pi, which otherwise would remain at like 700 or something megabytes of memory available for use and data storage. But you can hack that and go into the gigs. But we won't get into that either. But there's so many things you can do with the Raspberry Pi. I mean, there's so many clever tricks and hacks and ways around the limitations that are placed on the computer. So with that being said, this is probably going to be one of my next projects. Still not sure what I'm going to do with the Raspberry Pi. I'm probably going to just kind of experiment with different hacks and stuff and coding, and maybe summarize that on my website. But the sky is really the limit. I mean, you can even use this thing and set it up to be kind of like a hack-proof anonymous router. If you're into online and internet privacy, you can take the Raspberry Pi and use it and program it to be a router, a Wi-Fi router with extra layers of privacy and security. So anyways, without getting too much into it, because I could sit here and talk about this thing all day, the Raspberry Pi 3B Plus, gonna get into more of these videos in the weeks to come, more cryptocurrency videos in the weeks to come. Cryptocurrency market's doing okay. It kind of went up, started going up, kind of went back down a little bit, but it's still in its threshold where it's been in the last couple of months. So we'll kind of have to play it by ear and see what happens in the months to come. That's it for the day, for the video, folks. Really don't have much more to say. I'll be back with more updates as soon as I get into exploring my Raspberry Pi and seeing what kind of things I could do with this amazing invention. Anyhow, p2ptender.com, appties.com, subscribe, and I'm still giving away cryptocurrencies. If you haven't gotten your Bitcoin or your Digibytes, those are coming. I've been giving those out, so just probably the last few subscribers didn't get theirs, but stay tuned, and I look forward to hearing some feedback from you folks, and till next time.